Magandang araw mga kababayan. Ito po ulit si Kaloy Conde at kasama ko si Inday Espina Varona. Nanggagaling pa siya ng Sweden. Yata ngayon nasa Europa si Inday. At ilang linggo ka na ba dyan, Day?
Tatlo, pero
Na,
pauwi na ako.
nag-i-enjoy ka ba dyan? Nag-i-enjoy or
Oo,
ah
nag-enjoy na ako ngayon kasi
ah,
tapos na yung official event namin. Pero,
that's
you know, as journalists, we don't really have the money to go around. So if somebody invites you for an official event, you take advantage of it.
sponsor.
Oo.
Kasama rin natin ngayon si UP Professor Roland Simbulan na siya rin yung chairperson ng CENPEG. Ito yung Center for uh, People Empowerment in Governance. Ito isa pong, ewan ko kung tama lang bang tawaging think tank ito, Professor, no? Pero isa itong napaka mahalagang civil society organization sa academe na based sa UP. At pag-uusapan natin mamaya yung ating main subject. Ito yung nga yung pagdagsa, for lack of a better word, ng mga toolful sa Philippine politics. Ano. Pero magandang hapon, Professor.
Magandang hapon din, Kaloy at Inday.
Pag-usapan natin mamaya, pero Day, ano, na-monitor mo ba yung mga nangyayari sa Pilipinas lately?
Well, ang na-monitor ko lang, nagising ako isang araw, nakita ko, ano tong iskandalo? Wala akong kilala sa mga taong sangkot sa iskandalo. Except one, of course, the popular composer, musician na Rico Blanco, who is, of course, hindi naman siya kasali talaga doon. Pero parang nagulantang ako. But, it raised very important points. Ang hilig-hilig natin na mag-screen cap, mag-ano, no?
Oh,
Jesus Falsis, lawyer, made a very good point, no? Pero noon ko pa sinasabi, Loy, sa mga when it's social media, no matter what platform, messaging app man siya, nothing is private because
that's true.
so if you have something really sensitive to say it face to face. Do not,
Yeah.
say it in all this messaging app because one way or another, mga tao nagagalit na, they break up, whatever, something's going to come out anyway. But I hope that all parties, I don't know who they are, manage to resolve this problem. Of course,
That's
sa kanila lang problema yan. Sa atin lahat, wala naman tayong kinalaman doon.
Oh, at saka speaking of problem, dami-dami problema sa mundo, no? Kung
Oo
kahit sa
nga eh.
Pilipinas lang,
Sabi
dami-daming
ko nga
nangyayari sa politics natin.
bakit nakatutok doon ang South Korea? Ang galing-galing ng drama
Oh, di
ninyo.
ba?
Dapat doon tayo lahat nakatutok because it also reflects on how far you know, we've
Yeah.
tumbled in terms of defending democracy. Ibang klase ang South Korea.
Yeah.
I'll have to give them that.
Professor Roland, feel free to jump in for your own thoughts about these tangential matters.
Oo.
Uh,
Siguro
pero,
magandang tanungin si Roland. Prof,
oh,
anong tanaw niya sa South Korea? Because a lot of us are still nangangapa doon eh.
oo nga
Parang,
pala,
oo
pag-usapan
nga,
natin konti yan. Professor, what do you think is going down there at going on there tapos anong magiging impact nito in the months in the weeks ahead?
Well, yung South Korea kasi nagkaroon ng talagang napakamadugong karanasan, no? Actually,
Mhm.
halos kasabay natin nung
yes.
i-declare ang martial law at yung military dictatorship ni General Park Chung-hee, no?
Mhm.
Nung bandang 80s, no? Halos kasabay natin nung time na tayo under the Marcos dictatorship. Ngayon, talagang nung panahong 'yon, napakagrabe yung karahasan na ginamit ng military dictatorship, no, under the martial law dictatorship of General Park Chung-hee. In fact,
Mhm.
may isang syudad, no, si Gwangju,
Gangfu.
Mhm.
kung saan yung mga estudyante sa mga universities at yung pati yung mga manggagawa sa kanilang mga pagawaan, nag-general strike, no? At laban sa dictatorship. Ngayon, itong si General Park Chung-hee, nagbigay siya ng deadline na tigilan yung kanilang protesta, no, against the dictatorship, no. Kung hindi, action siya. Yun, dumating sa sa deadline, tapos yung mga sundalo ni General Park Chung-hee talagang sinugod yung
Ah,
halos the entire city kasi mga malalaking universities nila doon at saka yung mga pagawaan
mhm.
sumama kasi yung mga manggagawa na mga unions nila at talagang massacre nangyari, no, talagang maraming
Mhm.
pinatay, no, at
200 something.
yeah. And
So,
even actually even more kasi marami
mm,
daw mga naging missing marami ring
yeah.
naging pinukot nila at nawala, never to be heard again. Anyway, ganun ang kaya nung nagkaroon sila ng restoration of democracy at civilian rule, no, hindi makalimutan 'yon ng mga
Mhm.
tao, no. Well, of course meron lang isang siguro probably yung electorate nila gusto pa rin bigyan ng, remember may yung daughter ni General Park Chung-hee tumakbong
Mm.
presidente, no?
Oo.
Tumakbo at nanalo siguro binigyan ng chance na probably ang inisip nila, the daughter might be different from the father, so naipanalo through her political party, no, na nanalo presidente. Pero nung nagkaroon ng skandalo, corruption, bribe, which involved receiving bribery from bribes from companies, no, na
Mhm.
gusto makahingi ng makaano ng mga government contracts. Talagang nagkaroon ng massive protest. Kaya si Miss Park, no, na presidente noon, na anak ni General Park Chung-hee, was forced to step down, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
At later na pa siya, na-convict siya, no. Na-convict siya, na-sentence siya for corruption, no. So itong memory na ito na naging similar experience nila, pero mas actually madugo talaga yung nangyari kasi talagang lantarang military dictator
Yeah.
si General Park Chung-hee.
Mm.
At sinira niya yung maraming institusyon. Kaya nga nung nagkaroon ng restoration ng demokrasya sa at civilian rule, I think sinentruhan ng kanilang pamahalaan na at kasama yung mga nila civil society groups para restore yung pagpapalakas sa kanilang mga institusyon, no, namely yung political parties nila, no, at ganoon din yung uh, judiciary nila, no, para sino mang magkasala sa korupsyon ay talagang paparusahan, no, sino ka man, no, ano man ang posisyon mo sa gobyerno.
Kaya pala
So
Prof, kaya pala napaka-vigilant nila, no? Konting
yeah.
kaluskos lang ng mga lideres nila katulad ng ginawa ngayon ni President Hu. Yun talagang ano na.
Yeah. ang,
Sabi
ang
nga nung
maganda Ang maganda kasi doon, Kaloy, yung na-realize kasi ng mga civil society groups doon, including labor unions, na kailangan talaga nakapaloob din sila sa sistema,
Mhm.
no? Kaya yung political parties nila, no, maraming political parties doon talagang na nakaangkla sa lakas ng mga labor unions, ng mga
Yeah.
civil society organizations, no? Kaya meron silang boses kahit sa loob ng kanilang parliament at
Yeah.
executive branch ng government, no, yung mga ministries,
Yeah. Yeah.
no? Kaya kaya walang lusot kasi kung
No.
may ipinapaimbestiga sila, may access sila sa
Mhm.
sources of
Mhm.
information sa loob ng gobyerno mismo, no.
Tingin niyo,
So
Prof,
Actually,
I'm sorry. Tingin niyo,
ay,
Prof, darating ang point na magiging ganyan din tayo in terms of our institutions? Sabi nga doon sa mga tweet, sa mga di ba? Sana all.
yeah, sana nga gusto ko ngang makita 'yan at pero ang susi dito yung political parties natin, no. Kailangan unless we really develop genuine political parties that are based on platforms and principles and not on personalities, or hindi lang ginagamit yung kasi sa atin political parties natin wala
Wala, wala,
ano
wala.
lang yan, mga temporary alliances lang ng mga political dynasties, no, pero
Mm.
tinatawag nilang political party, pero these are uh, temporary alliances of convenience by
Yeah.
you know
Nako,
these ambitious political dynasties, no? Ganyan ang ano natin.
swak
Kaya
na swak yan, Prof, mamaya sa
Oo
pag-uusapan
nga.
natin tungkol sa mga Tulfo. No? May tatanong ka dapat, Day? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to mention, ang pumasok sa akin talaga, panunood dito sa South Korea, three things eh. Si Yoon kasi, ano yan eh, general prosecutor yan dati. So
Oo.
he knows the power
Anti-corruption,
of
yeah.
prosecution. Actually, dalawa ang na-convict nilang presidente, no, after the dictatorship, no. Nakakatawa siya dahil his predecessor, si President Moon, who was very popular then, no? Siya yung una na pumunta dun sa Gwangju commemoration.
Yeah.
And at yung anthem nila, that protest anthem, ginawa niyang official na kinakanta tuwing celebration na yan. And then ito naman si Yoon ay sumunod naman the following year. Pero ang sinabi nga ng ibang analyst is hindi ba nila naiintindihan that for many Koreans, whatever political parties, yung wound, no, ng dictatorship na yan malakas. Kasi may mga Korean friends ako of a certain age, yung mga ganyan, mga 60s na 70s, sila lang kilala ko sa karaoke. Sa karaoke, kinakanta yung anthem na yan.
Oh,
At
wow.
umiiyak sila, Kaloy, when they sing that anthem. I was like, tulala ako. Kaya nilang umiyak after all these years kinakanta yung anthem na yan. So it's not something light for them. Talagang nasa dibdib nila yan. So, ayun na nga, pati nga party niya, di ba? Talagang drew a line immediately. So, right now, we know that mukhang may panawagan general strike. Before kasi nangyari yung kanyang martial law, 1,000,000 na pala ang nagpirma ng petisyon na dapat bumaba na siya dahil nga ang asawa niya kaya takot siya. Ang asawa niya yata ay sangkot, no, sa ilang mga skandalo rin tungkol dito.
Tsaka very slim yung ano niya yung victory margin niya
oo.
So,
So,
he doesn't
tagilid
really
siya
have a
talaga.
mandate. Tagilid siya talaga.
Oo.
Pero maganda to, no? Professor, no, nasimulan na natin, no? Let's segue into our main pulutan this afternoon on politics. But okay, so the Tulfos, to some degree, they're kind of ushering in a new era of politics sa Pilipinas by the sheer number of the Tulfos that are seeking office. May nilabas nga ang Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism last week about the party list system, but basically ang pinaka anong content doon ay yung tungkol sa mga Tulfos. So isa ang senador ngayon, may dalawa pang tatakbo, tapos may dalawa or tatlo yata na congressman, tapos meron pang isang local official. So I think this is not just a question of a political family na tatakbo ng napakarami, because I'm sure hindi naman sila lang yung ganyan na marami ang finifield na candidates. But in terms of the position they're seeking, I can't recall of any instance na naging tatlo or may tumakbong tatlong senador sa isang election. So that's why we're gonna talk about the Tulfos today. Ano ko nga, are we ready for the kind of politics that the Tulfo brings to the table? Isang Professor Roland Aninday, ang gusto kong pag-usapan din natin, aside from kind of tracing kung paano sumikat itong mga Tulfo na to and what their popularity, their immense popularity kind of means. Kasi may mga teorya tayo dyan kung bakit ganun meron nila akong teorya dyan, pag-usapan din natin mamaya, but we need to kind of unpack this popularity and why are we here at this point to begin with, that we're going to be the possibility of having three brothers in the Senate is there. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily by its own bad, because we've had some siblings in the Senate before, but clearly the lack of choice mga politicians is one aspect of it, but also kung ano yung nangyayari on the ground, bakit tayo umabot sa ganito. So unang tanong ko sa iyo, Day, nung malaman mo mga Tulfo ganito kadami, question ko din ito kay Professor Roland, what was your kind of initial gut reaction? Parang ako kasi, wala na bang iba? Sa iyo, anong mo?
Hindi sa wala ng iba rin Alam natin merong iba. Pero
Mhm.
alam ng mga Tulfo brothers, they're very popular. We know that. So mas doon ako sa why are they this popular, no?
Yes.
Of course, because they know they're popular, they're going to take the advantage of it. Because after all, there is no law against political dynasties. Si Rafi ngayon, and he has a wife and a son in Congress, no?
Mhm.
And then Wanda is coming in, and they'll have 4 in Congress if they all win. So 3 in the Senate, 4 in Congress. That's very, very powerful family kung mangyari yan. But siguro, why are the Tulfos popular is what I've been thinking about. It's because there is a vacuum in governance.
Yeah.
Yung
Yeah.
vicarious, it's almost the same sa akin paningin doon sa kung bakit binoto si Duterte.
Yeah.
Yung pag feeling ng Pilipino, I'm not saying this is a right decision, but I'm saying this is what people feel. Pagtingin nila, dehado sila sa normal processes of justice and redress sa gobyerno, then they go for anybody who will take shortcuts on their behalf, akala nila, on their behalf, which
Mhm.
Duterte has done for a long time, which the Tulfo brothers have raised to a high art because they
Mhm.
badger people, And minsan, nakikinig ako, teka muna, bakit minsan nga hindi naman kalaki, no, ang problema, pero para sa mga taong nanonood, ang grabe yung kanilang viewership, no, sa kanilang mga digital shows, na nare-reflect nila yung buhay nila dun sa humihingi ng tulong dahil hindi sila makakuha ng tulong, and suddenly here are people who are willing to go against the powers and give them instant help. I'm not going to say instant gratification dahil itong mga taong pupunta sa Tulfo matagal na, no, na
Mhm.
nagkikimkim ng hinanakit. So probably yung vacuum, yung weak system natin of justice and redress ay paves the way for people who are willing to use shortcuts and bravado and machismo, and that's the way the cookie crumbles, as we say.
Yeah. Professor, your take on that one. What do you think is happening here?
Well, I agree with Inday, no, dun sa sinabi niya. Although ang observation ko lang, itong phenomenon ng mga Tulfo brothers and their rise in Philippine politics, no, this really reflects yung ano natin, ika nga kung gagamitin ko yung terminong uhaw na uhaw ang mga Pilipino na magkaroon ng na magkaroon ng alternatibo dito sa mga dynasties natin, yung mga families ruling for the past 30 years, no, tapos ngayon nga tulad ng naobserba ng mga nagsasaliksik ukol sa political families, yung ano dito sa atin, yung dynasties horizontal no?
Mhm.
Sabay-sabay, no? Kasi yung original concept ng dynasty, yung series of succession, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Of leaders. Pero ito, both no? Both vertical and horizontal kasi sabay-sabay. You can observe in
Mhm.
many places in the Philippines na in the province especially na yung mula sa mayor, congressman, tapos yung mga konsihal, mga members ng family nila, tapos minsan may nakakalusot pa sa Senate, no, pinapatakbo nila. Talagang, in other words, yung politics has become some kind of a family affair, no? And because of that, dahil sa pangungurakot nitong mga dynastic anong ito na nakakapinsala o nakakapekto na sa mga sa mga maraming tao in terms of poor basic services, ganon. Frustrated yung mga tao kaya naghahanap ng mga alternatibo, and it so happened and unfortunately sinamantala nitong mga Tulfo, of course yung ano nila, yung access nila sa media, no, lalo na sa radyo, at yung mga si Montulfo sa kanyang mga column sa dyaryo, tsaka combination, no.
Mhm.
And yun nga, tulad nung nabanggit ni Inday kanina, parang nag-aano sila they're offering a quick fix, di ba, sa mga
Yes.
problema. Tsaka yung kanila parang direct service dahil sa through radio and or through television, nagkakaroon sila ng ano talagang link with the people, no, and sa mamamayan.
Yeah.
And sana yung mga ganyang alternatibong lumilitaw, sana yung matitino. Kasi halimbawa, we can cite some cases na naging alternatibo yung people who were in the media. Halimbawa, di ba remember Grace Padaka
Mhm.
sa Davao, di ba? Ano siya, radio announcer siya, di ba?
Never siya.
Davao. And she became sa Isabela. And she
Ah.
became a strong voice and alternative to the yung well-entrenched dynasty of the D family sa Isabela. Ang hirap ilan na yung sumubok na mag-challenge sa kanila, hindi maano, pero nung siya, dahil yung direct din niya sa appeal sa people, no, through radio, naging strong voice of the opposition. And of course, eventually nung nanalo siya hindi siya tumagal din, one term lang, dahil talagang they ganged up on her, no, yung mga mayors na hawak ng mga D ay mag-cooperate, tapos later they sila ng parang in a way parang inipit siya sa mga iba-ibang trumped up charges, no, based on technicalities, no. But anyway, makikita nung time niya, nung siya manalo, it so happen matinong tao ito, no. Pero dito sa mga Tulfo baligtad, no. And they started as alternatives to the failure of our institutions to render justice and to provide for our people, no. And pero yun, sinamanta nila nung naka-posisyon sila, nagkaroon sila ng ambisyon na gawing sundan yung ginagawa ng ibang family dynasties, no.
Yeah.
That once in power, they want to hold on to it and keep power for their family.
Professor, isn't there a kind of a nuance here in terms of, for instance, this is para silang, kasi nga ang pinapromise nga ng mga Tulfos ay quick fix solutions to common problems, kahit yan yung mga paghihiwalay o mga pagiging unfaithful na mag-asawa, tinatakil din doon sa mga programa nila, no, mga quick fix nga. Pero in many ways, wala bang indication ito na ito ay isang kind of a pushback against the usual political dynasties na tipong yung parang mga hasyendero na andyan lang, nag-i-enjoy sila sa nila, tapos walang ginagawa on the ground. Pero itong mga Tulfo na not necessarily malalaking pamilya dati ay have managed to weave themselves into that political context by ayoko kasing i-dismiss na lang agad na they're misusing their popularity for quick fix solutions just to become a stronger political dynasty, because the reality is meron nga silang nasi-serve na mga purpose for many Filipinos. So I guess what I'm trying to drive at, Professor, is could there be a more nuanced way of looking at their influence and popularity?
Ang nakikita ko lang talagang nuance dito yung their rise actually reflects the hunger of our people to have alternatives, no, alternatives to our present institutions, no, which have been so corrupted by the dynastic rule of political families, so that kuminsan I would say desperate yung mga tao, yung mga mamamayan natin, no. So it could hindi necessarily Tulfos, kuminsan yung isang popular na boksingero katulad ni Pacquiao, parang alternatibong ganyan, no, or it could be somebody from showbiz, di ba, na lumilitaw at nagkakaroon ng ambisyon na pumasok sa politika. So gano'n, no? I think yung rise na yun, parang ano din, parang it reflects desperation on the part of our people eh.
So in
So
other words, parang this is they're a product of the failure of politics.
yeah,
They are.
yung ating
May dadagdag lang ako. I think it was also Walden Bello said, tama ka, sinabi mo, mga asendero na kaupo lang. It's
Mm.
very noticeable that the Tulfos are not running for local elections. Kasi
Yeah.
sa local elections, yan ang mga, yung Panginoon may lupa, yung mga ganun,
Turf,
no?
hindi nila
Sabi nga
turf
ni,
yan.
oo nga, sabi ni Walden, ano yan, based on land yan, na mga, yung dating old wealth systems natin. Pero
And that's, I
sabi niya
guess,
nga,
sorry to butt in, and that's where Grace Padaka actually kind of run into trouble, right?
oo, kasi mahirap yung malakas talaga sila. But sabi niya, may espasyo, lalo na kapag urban na, lalo na kapag siguro national na yan, ganon, party list nga eh, so nationwide yan eh, may laban. Meron siyang, I can't quite remember the term, but he said, the outsider clans, the outsiders can come in a certain, dyan sa manipis, no, na lugar na yan. And the Tulfos are doing it, of course, na merong ano dahil nakakagulat eh. Minsan nga makikita natin pag we share on Facebook something on we break for example a new problem ganon. Makikita ko ang sumasagot sinishare. Sabi ko, ba't ang daming nag-share nito? Hindi ko makakilala. At tapos sasabihin, itatag nila si Action Man Rafi Tulfo or yung ano man tawag nila. So, yun talaga ang ang instinct ng mga tao. Pupunta kami sa kung sinong alam namin na mag-a-action dito kasi otherwise papatay-patay lang tayo sa problema na to.
Actually, just a good point tayo. I'm just reminded of one story I heard. And this explains the kind of the popularity of the Tulfos in a way. Mamaya kailangan natin magbigay ng konting background about the rise kasi baka may mga nagtatanong, what are you guys talking about? Pero nabanggit mo kasi dahil na kahit saan may problema, Tulfo lagi tinatag nila at mini-mention. Naalala ko lang isang kwento sa akin, sa isang village ni isang pangmayaman dito somewhere sa Laguna. Nagkakaroon sila ng problema. During a meeting daw, ang isa sa mga nagrereklamo ay sinabi, ipatulfo na natin kaya itong mga to. Meaning, and these are rich people ha. These are, may kaya itong mga tao to. Pero ang ano nila, ang instinct nila to solve their problem was ipatulfo nila itong mga taong to. So, I mean, that indicates to me na hindi lang ito yung mga na-snatchan o naloko doon sa tabi-tabi, but even those who are sabihin natin will to do. So, ano nito sa iyo, Professor? Does this symbolize to you in terms of how Filipinos now, I mean, given na yung meron tayong may vacuum in terms of justice and accountability ng mga institutional mechanisms ay hindi gumagana, no? Pero I mean, kasi ang ano natin, ang minsang conventional wisdom natin, pag mayaman ka, you have a better access to justice and accountability. Pero and yet, yun nga, may mga mayayaman din naman na nagpapatulfo din. So, anong tingin mo dito?
Well, usually yung mga mayayamang nagpapatulfo din, yung kanilang kalaban ika nga o yung parang ika nga nang-aapi sa kanila, mas powerful, no? Mas powerful kaysa sa
Okay.
kanila. Kaya ito, di ba, na-coin nila yung terminong isumbong mo kay Tulfo, di ba?
Yes.
Parang pang ano. So, and the Tulfos have managed to really get yung sentiment of the people, yung para mag-click yung ano nila. Tapos yung kahit na yung mga makapangyarihan na nasa gobyerno na untouchable at the same time, parang pinapahiya nila over the air, di ba? Ano nila, yung parang they humiliate them. Kuminsan nga, may times pa narinig ko na minumura pa nila no? At yung mga taong nakikinig, nagpapalakpakan na itong mga untouchable na ito, kaya kahit na kuminsan mga police officials, no? Minumura ng mga tulpo. Tuwan-tuwa naman yung mga tao. Na-master nila yung art na yun na para silang they serve as a Robin Hood on the air, no? Ganon, ika nga. Tapos pati yung mga kasi mahilig tayong mga Pilipino sa mga chismis ganon. Pati yung mga away o hidwaan sa mga mag-asawa. Pinasok pa nila yan, di ba? Di ba? Kuminsan merong mga pamilyang yung mga asawang
Nag-aaway.
ginugulpi, gano'n, nag-aaway, tapos ginugulpi yung babae o ano. Tapos sa kanila humihingi ng tulong, tapos yun, tatawagan nila, tapos pinapahiya nila talaga. So, ang image nila talagang in a way, parang Robin Hood on the air.
Yeah.
Ganun eh. And they mastered that art, I think. No?
And I think
Kaya,
that's
Maski,
go ahead, Inday.
okay.
Sorry.
Kasi aanin ko, susugan ko doon, no, Robin Hood on the air, di ba? Pero ito kasi yung Senado at ang Kongreso, dahil ito nga yung may oversight, no? Ito yung nananawagan ng mga investigasyon. Nakikita natin ngayon, no? Nakatutok ang buong sambayanan dahil ano. So tingin nila, natural actually to para sa mga tao to identify the tulfos na pwedeng umupo dyan dahil ine-expand lang yung kanilang siguro mga yung talk shows nila, yung kanilang public service nga, ilagay dun kasi parang, siguro sila lang yung, magyuyugyug, no, ng mga taong sa kapangyarihan kapag nakaupo na dyan. Whether they have, I'm not sure because how has Rafi, ikaw, tatanong ko, how has Rafi been, um, nakita ba sa Senado ang kaastigan ni Rafi sa kanyang broadcast dun sa mga issues ngayon na tinatalakay ng bansa? Parang hindi ko
Paminsan-minsan
masyadong
meron.
nakikita. Paminsan-minsan, oo. Pero depende na ngayon because now that they're powerful, they'll have to weigh kung sino yung friends again, no? Magda-dynasty na, sino ang ally, sino ang kaaway.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, no? Now that they're in power at magiging mas powerful pa sila, how are they going to navigate that entirely kind of different environment? Kasi dati, nung nasa media pa sila at they have the platform Facebook as YouTube and Facebook, I mean, kumbaga, sabi nga ni Professor Rolando kanina, kulang na lang, sampalin nila yung mga tao no? Pag inuusig nila on the air, no? Konting ano lang siguro, just a short background. So, itong magkakapatid nito, itong tatlo, let's focus on the three. Si Rafi ay nag-ano naman talaga yan, no, sa kanyang radio, TV and
Oo.
YouTube. Tapos sinundan siya ni Ben, yung lagi naka-sunglass, di ba? Ganun din, yung bitag, di ba? Yun yung ano
Bitag.
nila. Oo. Yung kanila. So, they cater to these things, to these concerns na, kumbaga, quick fix nga. Itong si Erwin ang tingin ko medyo mas may interesting na history because he was a journalist. He used to be with ABS, right? I don't know kung
Yes.
nakasama ba natin siya sa Manila Times ba yun? Na nag-column siya? Because I remember editing him one time. Sa
Hindi ko
column
siya
niya.
nabutan do. I think very short-lived din yata
No,
yun.
I think it was Philippine Post, sorry,
Post,
where I was an editor, tapos siya ay columnist, and I remember editing him, and he would drop by sa office. Yes, he's a nice guy. But
they're all nice guys. They're very charming, all of them.
yeah,
I love to say that.
pero yung kanilang ano sa
approachable.
media kasi, ang dating kasi nila sa media is mga no nonsense, action people, action men. Tapos itong si Erwin pa naging DSWD pa. Tapos so medyo maraming mga dinaanan itong si Erwin. I'm not so sure about the other two. So, pero itong galawan nila, Professor, sa media, obviously, nag-ugat ito doon sa kanilang kapatid, si Ramon Tulfo, di ba? Na columnist sa Inquirer at may mga tabloid column pa yata before that where he would tackle yung mga police issues, mga complaints against police, and he would report in his column yung mga police stories. And in fact, may mga ano ba diyan before Ramon Tulfo, there was, if you remember, there was Ruther Batuigas, Manila Bulletin. I mean, I'm not that old, but I remember him. But the kind of writing and journalism that they did, they had a column, and people were really, and in fact, uso pa yan ngayon sa Abante, sa mga tabloids ngayon, meron pa nga yung mga police columns, police files, na Davey Reggiano yata, for a while, ganun ang ginagawa. So, in other words, mapupunta tayo dun ngayon dito sa pinag-usapan natin kanina, Professor Inday, na itong ginawang papel ng mga mamamahayag na to, is importante in terms of filling the vacuum, the void that's created by the breakdown and the dysfunction of our criminal justice system. Now, ang tanong ko ngayon is that, Professor, I mean, as politicians, where would this lead? Are they going to abandon all of that, or magkakaroon sila ng bagong way of doing it?
Well, I think they've they've mastered the way to how to get there. Pero once they're there already, as I see it, they would tend to imitate what the other dynastic families are doing to keep in power. Because they're already there. No?
Mhm.
So yung mga techniques ng mga ibang dynasties, yung mga nakapaligid sa kanila ngayon sa Congress at even Senate, mga ano yan, they come from well-entrenched dynastic families, and I think magbe-blend sila diyan sa mga yan
Hilaro. Mm.
to keep in power, no? To keep
Well,
themselves.
okay. Loy, i-remind ko lang na, power, minsan ginagamit na talaga yan, no? For self-interest. The Tulfos have not been very different here, no? Naalala natin yung controversy tungkol sa when Wanda was tourism secretary,
Yeah.
and the tourism department funneled funds, quite substantial amount of funds dun sa mga programa ng mga Tulfos, no? So medyo yung conflict of interest doon pero lately kasi parang inabsuelto dito, parang wala na. Sabi pa nila babalik nila, but of course they never returned that. Simon din, remember he was a special advisor to China, and then he was writing columns, nagulat ako na tungkol to sa vaccines na
Yeah.
yung pag-import ng vaccines. Tapos biglang nakita ko, he had also applied sana to be one of the distributors of a vaccine, kaya nagalit siya siguro dahil hindi na ibigay pa. So parang, okay, meron na tayong mga warning signs, maybe not as huge, not as scandalous as other political dynasties have done, but still nandyan na yung mga warning signs that they're not above using their positions, of course, to further their self-interest. Pero ang
Lumalaro.
question dyan is, yung voters ba, would they see it that way? Or ito gusto ko rin matanong kay Prof. Ang mga botante ba natin na parang, have they absorbed yung parang belief na, sige, basta tulungan tayo dito, pwede na sila, kumabig kahit konti. Kasi parang, usually from time, cycle na cycle, parang sinashrug off lang basta wag lang yung Janet Napoles kind of
Corruption, yeah.
level, no? Ganon. O kaya itong bilyong-bilyong nangyayari ngayon. Parang, ang mga tao parang, sige na, parang it's their due, parang ganon. So, Prof, yan ba yung pananaw mo rin na parang people will shrug off, questions of corruption or probably lobbying for with self-interest in mind?
Well, although they would tend to imitate or blend with the other practices of our corrupt dynastic families, but at the same time, I think mag-aano sila, no? They will try to also try to prove that they're quite different, no? They're a bit different. And I hope that yung kanilang bombastic style ma-translate din yan sa mga issues that really matter, no? Where we need legislators who are brave enough to go and seek the truth, no? Especially in these investigations or hearings going on regarding corruption in our government.
Pero,
Kasi,
Prof, go ahead, continue.
yeah, kasi I was expecting, for example, dun sa Senate hearings, no? Di ba, nung iniimbestiga yung mga Pogo, ganon. I was expecting more from the Tulfo, the Senator Tulfo, to play an active role there and use use what in style niya sa radyo and TV para talaga to get to the bottom of the issue, but I was very disappointed yung kanyang performance doon sa yun, sa
Well,
hearings.
that actually raises very valid questions about exactly what, kasi si Rafi pa lang naman yung andyan, no?
Yeah.
Exactly kung ano yung kanyang plano to kind of sustain the image nila na yun nga, matatapang, no nonsense, quick fixers. So, pero yun nga, na-point out mo rin to Inday kanina, now you're saying it, Prof, na parang halos wala tayong nakikitang ganon.
Mm.
But is it reasonable to expect the public to also develop that kind of disaffection sa kanila kung hindi nila gagawin yung sa Senado yung ginawa nila sa radyo, or hindi kaya isipin ng publiko ngayon na okay lang kaya andiyan lang kayo sa Senado, basta yung sa radyo tuloy-tuloy nyo lang yan. Pwede ba nila i-compartmentalize yung kanilang feeling sa mga tulfo pagdating sa politiko?
Yeah. Well, maybe ang pagtingin sa kanila, the public will be more understanding because of their backgrounds, no. But kasi may limitation din yung kanilang yung kanilang style, no.
Mhm.
Their style may have been effective when they
Sorry.
were not when they were not yet in power, but now once in power may limitation yon kasi itatry mo i-blend dyan sa parliamentary
Yeah.
sa parliamentary format ng ating institutions. It won't work yung mumura ka gano'n, no, kaya yung
Mhm.
bombastic style. Hindi pwede yan hindi pwede yan sa ganyan, di ba?
Yeah.
You cannot just yung translate that into the halls of Congress,
Congress.
no?
But on the other hand, Prof, that raises an interesting question about uh, where are they going to go forward from here? Kasi the whole point of their existence as quick fixers is what, kung ano yung nagpa-popularize sa kanila. Now, if they adjust now their style, their ways, kasi nga nasa Congress, nasa Senate na sila, thereby risking alienating their core kind of followers, and eventually baka nga makikita na ngayon ng mga Tulfo fans na wala na sila, tapos na sila sa face na yun ng mga bombastic quick fixers. Magkakaroon ngayon ng void ngayon diyan sa ganung klasing sa issue na yan, kasi nga our systems, our institutions have not been fixed. So magkakaroon uli ng clamor for another kind of Tulfos, of other people na pwedeng to excuse me, to fill the gap, as it were, na may iwan ng mga Tulfo ngayong nilalamon na silang politika. Is that something that is, in your view, possible?
Yeah, it's possible. And I think yung natin, kung hindi talaga, if they are ineffective in fixing our institutions, I think there'll be disappointment on the part of the public, no, and electorate about how far they can go. Kasi yung style nila may have been effective before, but now
Mhm.
in a different arena, parang ineffective, and they're not able to fix the institutions that have been corrupted and politicized, no.
Yeah.
Ako,
One would,
Loy,
yeah, sige, Day.
okay. Ako tingin ko, what their core, at malaking core to na botante para sa kanila, will expect will be for them natutukan yung mga basic services, no? Siguro mga iskandalo siguro sa disaster aid, no? Sa mga ganon, sa agriculture, sa mga ganon siguro. I don't think their fans, their voters, supporters will really care all that much about whether Marcos, Duterte, yung gulo na yan, no? Hindi masyado yan. I'm not even sure myself kasi parang on the fence tong mga Tulfos pagdating sa Marcos Duterte yata eh. Pero tingin ko they will have ang heavy burden nila is tutukan yung mga basic services, at kapag hindi na papadala sa mga tao, kapag hindi nila nagawa yan, mamomroblema sila. Dahil yun ang kanilang direct service nga eh. So yung mga social services, agriculture, yung mga siguro DepEd, I'm actually surprised na hindi ganon ka proactive dyan si Rafi. Pero dyan sila sisingilin ng kanilang core base.
Pero di kaya dapat din, and I don't know exactly if this is something na hindi nangyayari or baka hindi ko lang nakikita. Di kaya dapat din na ngayong andyan na si Rafi and then yung mga kapatid niya in the future kasi mukhang they're so popular, they're a shoe-in to win the Senate. Di kaya dapat ang gagawin nila is to take some steps while they're in the Senate and in Congress to kind of start fixing the problems that led many of these people to become their mass base, to become their base. I mean, problems in terms of the criminal justice system, problems in terms of how our legal system and the judiciary work. I mean, these are things that you would expect or you would think na pag-iisipan nilang gawin now that they're in power. Tingin niyo may ganun silang inclination to do that?
Criminal justice system, I'm not too sure of that kasi sa background rin ng mga Tulfos, parang yan parang they're probably good at fixing individual cases, no? Pero yung sistema na ganun, hindi eh. In the first place, si Mon Tulfo nga, pumasok kay Duterte. Medyo at sa kanila, yung quick fix tendencies nga nila bodes ill din in some way for that justice system that we want to strengthen. So I'm not too sure about that.
Prof?
Yeah, hindi nila I think yung the style that they have been using to gain political power, that will not work in fixing our institutions no, so that these institutions are going to work, no. It's like having rabble rousers who may be popular with crowds in mobilizing crowds, but when it comes to fixing institutions so that these institutions are going to work, it's going to take more than that, no.
Okay.
So yung rabble rousing style nila hindi pwede diyan sa ganyang klaseng arena.
So paano natin dito? So paano ang kumbaga pantapat sa ganyan? Because it's just a waste of tingin ko, it's just a waste of people's expectations na once they're in power, they're not going to be inclined to do the very things that made him popular or to fix the very things that made him popular. Pero nga sabi mo nga ganun naman talaga yan, ganun naman talaga. But so ano yung pangtapat natin dito in order to kind of for lack of a better word, force them to do that. Obviously, merong ibang players dyan sa Congress, sa Senado, lalo na sa Kongreso because of the party list system. So just a thought here, maybe could the party list groups that are now in Congress are very, very strong in Congress, the Makabayan Bloc and the Akbayan, who are pretty much exercising the role of the opposition, could they have some sway effect on political families like the Tulfos in terms of may mga pinangako kayo sa bayan, gawin nyo yan. Tingin nyo, or deluded na yon?
Hindi ko rin nakita masyado yung Tulfos dito sa Kongreso sa pandidinig ng lahat ng mga from Pogos to ikaw ba napansin mo sila? Yung mga nakaupo na Tulfos? Hindi ko rin sila napansin eh. So I'm not too sure about ang problema ko nga the way our electoral system goes, ang dami-dami. So we would like Makabayan, Akbayan, Mamamayang Liberal, no? Yung mga at least alam natin na fiscalizers and talagang watchdogs na mag-strengthen. Pero yun na nga yung so many years ago na binaba ng Supreme Court ang decision on how we get to elect party list in Congress, parang magiging dehado pa hindi ako sure, unless of course talaga magpakita ngayon ng electorate na kasi iisa lang party list ang bobotohin mo
Yeah.
So you would like so while itong mga political dynasties who have their own party list, ang dami-dami. I think more 66% pa ang sinabi ng PCIJ, no?
Mhm.
Sila may command votes yan sa kanilang mga distrito eh. They don't have to campaign nationally eh. Dun lang sa isang malaking distrito nila, kaya nila kumuha ng seats.
Professor, and this is something that I hope you can discuss a little bit, given that you're from SEMPEC and you've been tracking ito nga, people empowerment and of course the party list system. No? One of the things sinabi doon sa report nga ng PCIJ is that pinoint out nila na yung ACT-CIS ni Erwin Tulfo dati ay tatlo yung nominees, tatlo lahat pumasok. Ay, yung tatlong nominees na pumasok. The most, I think, by any party list group na in effect parang sila yung tumumba sa hold ng makabayan sa Kongreso. And now dahil nga, completely, sabihin natin salungat yung kanilang mga pinaglalaban or prinsipyo or what. In many ways, para ang mga Tulfos, by the existing grupo nila ngayon sa Congress are undermining the whole spirit of the party list system for a representation of the marginalized. What do you think of this, Professor, in terms of how how people's organizations or groups like Makabayan, Mamamayang Liberal, or Akbayan are going to kind of reassert their space given that this I wouldn't like to call it onslaught, but I think that's where we're going, onslaught ng mga Tulfos.
Yeah, well, from the very start, when many of these dynastic families started creating party list groups, no, so that additional members of their families would hold political power side by side with those who are already yung positions yung positions of power which they already have controlled. From the very start, talagang makikita nating binaboy talaga nitong mga dynasties ang ating party list system, no? Sinira, no?
Mhm.
Sinira, and in a very creative way, I would say, no? Kasi they found a way to put additional members of their families in power, no? Kasi filled up na yung position ng mayor, congressman, governor, perhaps coming from their family. Gusto pa nilang dagdagan, no? At they found a way by creating this party list group. Kasi dati, ang alam ko, yung pagdadagdag nila, di ba sa mga congressional districts natin, nagdadagdag sila ng congressional districts para may maposisyon silang family. Na yun exhausted na yun. Minsan natatalo pa pag nagkakaroon ng plebiscite, no, referendum yung mga tao. Pero ngayon, itong party list group na party list system na ginagamit nila talaga, very very obvious, no. And yun nga, pati unfortunately even the Tulfos have seen that it's a way to get members of their family in politics, no, yung mga asawa, ganon, and perhaps later mga anak nila, papasok nila dyan through the party list groups of CIS.
So in a way, this is just kind of one way to for political dynasties and political clans to enjoy the spoils of Philippine politics.
Yeah.
Wala ka nang maasahang except for
make it a family affair.
Make it a family affair. I mean, I think that the Tulfos, in the sense that they're sending practically everybody from their family to run for public office, are literally making that kind of yun ang kanilang gustong mangyari, ano? I mean, probably more than any other families. If I can't recall this many members of one family running for different public offices.
Probably the Revillas.
The what?
The Revillas.
The Revillas, but I think there are only about 3 or 4.
Ngayon, may mga local kasi marami sila sa locals, no? Pero not in this kind of high positions. Naalala ko na yung sinabi ni Walden, the insurgent clans, no? So insurgent clans ito sa mga Tulfos. But sabi niya nga eventually somewhere along the way, they become also, they become fossilized, It's a elite power structure.
Pero
So
I mean, I beg to disagree with Walden on that point, no? Kasi when you use the word insurgent, it suggests that this was a movement on the part of the Tulfos to fix something, to to
no, no,
to
I
try,
don't.
'di ba?
He doesn't mean that. I think he means that in terms of power dynamics lang, of the
Okay,
more established land-based clans and the new clans that are challenging them. He didn't mean that in the sense
in that
of para
sense,
sa
okay.
bayan. Wala
Oo.
siyang ano doon, hindi
So parang
ganon.
tipong this is just another challenger, no? Mga
Yeah,
ganon. It's
and eventually they settled to become one of the
yeah.
pack. Ganon.
Okay, this has been this has been really interesting, but now I think we've gone past the hour of this conversation. And um, Professor Roland, if you don't mind, I'm going to invite you in some future. Inday and I are going to invite you in some future episode of this to talk a lot more about Philippine politics and participatory democracy, people empowerment, and all of that. But in the meantime, we're happy that we somehow managed to make a little sense of the rise of the Tulfos and whether this is good or bad for Philippine politics. At this point, I'd like to give you, Professor Orlan, a chance to like a parting shot, things that you might have missed to say.
Yeah. Well, the phenomenon of the Tulfo family and their entry into Philippine politics only shows that there's no substitute to having genuine political parties based on platform and principles. Because these political parties are what we really need in our system to straighten up our systems. Actually, nakikita na natin sa entry ng ilan or just a few genuine party list groups, no? Yung how an organization or party list groups that is based on platforms and principles can make a dent and even maybe improve the quality of debates in our political system. Kasi, di ba, since the entry of the Akbayan and Makabayan blocks, party list groups, in a way, they have become the real opposition that have brought a certain level of quality to the nature of debates, di ba? Sa debates in Congress. And they are actually what our system need if we want to really fix our corrupted institutions, no, rather than just having individual or family personalities coming in and then trying to fix things, no, because we cannot expect these individuals or families to be able to successfully fix our institutions that have long been corrupted by political families.
Very well said, Professor Roland Simbulan from the Center for People Empowerment in Governance. Tama ba yun, Senpeg? And also Professor at UP Diliman. Maraming salamat, Prof. And Inday, anything to add?
Wala lang, basta siguro warning lang sa atin lahat, no, na kapag ang isang pamilya ay hawak ang executive, ang legislative, at lahat ng mga posisyon dyan, ay saan kayo tatakbo kapag
Yeah.
kayo ay humarap sa abuso at sa injustisya. So,
That's
as I said, yan.
That's a good point, no? I think to some degree, and this might be a little too strong a statement against the Tulufos, but they're signifying a threat to checks and balance in government. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Diba? If they really go to town with this and bring it to the logical conclusion. Anyway, salamat na marami, Dai, and enjoy the rest of your European trip, bakasyon, your gallivanting, sabi nga nila, and balik ka na, uwi ka na. Salamat again, Prof, and magandang araw sa ating lahat.
Bye.
Bye.